Season 4, Episode 4 of the King / Queen of the Ring tournament season here on PWS. We have another first round matchup. It is going to be Notanewbie taking on Ethan in a specialty match here tonight. Tonight we're doing a casket match. You know, we gotta switch up a little bit here, you know. Add some variety to the matches. All good, man. You get all kinds of good stuff with that. But yeah, Notanewbie is, you know, he's been having a pretty good career lately since debuting last season. You know, last season he won his qualifying matchup for the Elimination Chamber, and then he went on to be in the final 3 of the Elimination Chamber for the world title. So, you gotta think, Notanewbie has already been, like, pretty high up in the world title picture. You know, so things are being a little bit scaled back for him. You know, he's working his way back up. Maybe he'll get another shot, who knows? I mean, he's in this tournament, so we'll just see how well Notanewbie does as he's preparing for his opponent, Ethan Tortellini. Now, Ethan's career has been a mixed bag. Ethan debuted back in Season 2. He debuted against Lennox O, and Lennox O was corrupted with power when he was the world champion. So he made his debut against Lennox. He didn't win, but he certainly tried his best. Ethan then in Season 2, in the season finale, did make a little appearance in the final matchup to help Ethan before he win the world championship. Then fast forward to Season 3, Ethan did indeed qualify for the Elimination Chamber, but come time for the Elimination Chamber match, he unfortunately got eliminated. Like, I believe he was the first one out, if I remember correctly. So, it's been a mixed bag for him, you know. He's done some stuff, but his win-loss record isn't the greatest. So, Ethan, you know, maybe one of these days he'll put the trombone down and quit playing it and dance into the ring, and maybe one of these days he'll get a little more serious and maybe actually try to get a little more aggressive in that ring, pick up his career. But anyway, this matchup is underway, and Notanewbie flying in with a drop kick straight away. And a big knee shot to the face right there. Notanewbie stomped to the back. What is he going to be looking for here? Big kick to the spine right there. Now Notanewbie shows that, you know, he's confident, yes, but he's also a very good high flyer in the ring, as we've come to figure out. But as you can also tell by his offense, Notanewbie, you know, he's not afraid to get down and dirty. He's not afraid to get aggressive in that ring if it means getting the advantage of Ethan. What's he doing here? Springboard frog splash to the back right there, and good stuff from Ethan, picking up his offense a little bit. You know, Ethan elbowing Notanewbie right in the gut. What is he going to look for here? Big drop kick there. You know, Ethan, when he comes down to it, you know, don't get me wrong, when it comes down to it, Ethan is a pretty good performer in the ring. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of spirit, a lot of passion. You know, he's a solid in-ring performer, but I just feel like he lacks the intensity, lacks the seriousness, as we see now. Ethan is too busy showboating to the crowd, not paying attention as Notanewbie. You know, he likes to showboat the crowd too, but Notanewbie stays on offense. Notanewbie understands the wrestling business. He understands that you can't take your eyes off your opponent. And Ethan now, he's coming back with clotheslines, ducks a clothesline, off the ropes, he's popped up a big drop kick, and Ethan is firing up, channeling the energy from the crowd. Ethan is really picking up pace now. What is he going to do here? And throws Notanewbie right into the casket right now. And Ethan could be looking to close the casket early doors, trying to win the match straight away, but Notanewbie fights out of the casket. And that's the thing, you know, you gotta overpower your opponent in a casket match. And, you know, sure, no disqualifications, no pinfalls, no submissions, none of that. If you can knock your opponent out, good for you. And Notanewbie, bam, got a good old kendo stick shot right there. Ethan takes it, but Notanewbie comes in with the Hurricane Rana. See, this is what we mean by Notanewbie. He stays on the offense all the time. Even if he's going high flying, it doesn't stop him, as he got a kick from the back there. No, Notanewbie is bouncing on the barricade now. What can Notanewbie be looking for here? Flying blockbuster, and oh man, you saw his legs right there, right? You know, you saw his legs crash into the post right there, and that landing kind of caused him to land a little awkwardly though, but regardless, Notanewbie seems fine. He seems unaffected by the landing. And now taking control of this matchup as he's got an Irish whip into the corner, misses the chop, maybe still reeling from that blockbuster there, and he manages to wrench on the arm into the corner and a bolt. Don Ethan fighting down in the corner. What is Don Ethan going to do here? We're going to hoist him up, but Notanewbie flows over back and a nice reverse DDT right there. And now Notanewbie is picking him right back up. Kick to the gut. No! Don Ethan caught the knee. Shot to the kneecap. Big chops now. Don Ethan looking to fire the offense right back in. And now Notanewbie, what is he going to do here? He throws... Oh! Don Ethan just gets the momentum, sending Don Ethan flying over the top rope. And now Notanewbie is going to take full advantage of this. He's looking to lock the casket in, but Don Ethan manages to get out just in time. And, I mean, both men have had a close call in the casket, almost getting it closed on him. And Notanewbie, oh, he's got him against the ropes now. Notanewbie, oh, look for something. Don Ethan getting backed into the ropes again, but he fights out again. Now, what's he looking for here? Springboard disaster kick right there. And you saw that. He caught Notanewbie in the side. He caught him in the back of the neck, man. That's brutal. Don Ethan, you know, whips Notanewbie into the casket again. I mean, he didn't get all that disaster kick. You have to think, you know, he hesitated. That's the thing. Don Ethan tends to hesitate a lot, you know? Maybe if he didn't hesitate, he might have gotten all that. As we saw Notanewbie yet again fight out of that casket. And Notanewbie closed the lid, making it a little harder on Don Ethan, who manages to whack him in the face with a kendo stick right there. And got him in the shoulder now, and just throwing the kendo stick down on him, and now Don Ethan is picking up a second win now. Don Ethan picking up a little more aggression now, which is what he needs to do. And Don Ethan, what is he going to look for here? And a small package driver on the outside of the ring. Man. And he's opening the casket again, you know. Don Ethan, now, he's finally picking up the aggression now. I think he is starting to understand now that if I want to get anywhere in this wrestling business, I need to start picking up the pace. And now he's wailing away with steel chair shots. This is the most aggressive we've ever seen Don Ethan since his debuts. But Notanewbie comes back from out of nowhere and a brain buster right on the steel chair right there. And, I mean, that'd be enough to put most men in the hospital. But Don Ethan is kipping up from it, rolls through the kendo stick shot, but still Notanewbie, you know, he's a little quicker than him. I mean, if you get dropped on your head on a steel chair, you can try to shake it off all you want, but you're still not going to be 100% after that. And again, Notanewbie's got more of a leveraged position here, trying to push him down, but again, Don Ethan gets out of the casket, and you saw that. Maybe trying to close the casket from the outside of the ring might be a little better. And Notanewbie just broke the kendo stick over Don Ethan's face by chucking it in his face. And a snake eyes off the barricade now. And now what is Notanewbie going to do here? He picks him up and now whips him back into the ring. And Notanewbie, what is he going to look for here? I'm not too sure. He gets back in the ring though, regardless. And Notanewbie, oh my god, he's hooking the legs up, and he locks in a lion tamer. And Don Ethan fights out of it. Usually going for a submission in a match type like this isn't exactly the best idea. However, if you could make your opponent pass out from being put in a submission hold, you could win the match a little easier. But Don Ethan there, as you see, he's fighting back with a reverse DDT. Don Ethan maybe looking for another weapon? Yes, he is. He's gonna bring the steel steps into equation. And they're in the ring now. It's gonna be interesting to see how the steel steps get used here. Oh, but Notanewbie caught with the uppercut again. Don Ethan slowing down a little bit. You know, that's never a good sign. Notanewbie is calling him up. And now Notanewbie springboard hurricane rana. Nice stuff. The athleticism of Notanewbie. Full on confidence behind it too. And now looking to whip him to the corner, but no! Ooh! Jeez, Notanewbie's his ankle kind of caught the steel steps there on the way down, but he seems fine. And these two circling around the ring, ring around the rosy, it seems, when Notanewbie catches him with a forearm shot and a slingshot DDT on the apron. Nasty, brutal maneuver. Don Ethan instantly trying to fight back, but Notanewbie runs in with that hurricane rana. And dude, Notanewbie is a house of fire right now, as he gets launched back into the other set of steel steps. Ouch, man. But regardless, you know, Notanewbie, he's a very impressive competitor. There's a reason why Notanewbie made it to the final 3 in the Elimination Chamber. His resiliency, man, he's also insane in the ring, and Don Ethan flies off the top rope with a nice double axe handle right there. And now, going back to the top rope, Don Ethan, he's slowing down. He's taken a lot of damage, and I still think that Brainbuster on the steel steps has made him a little loopy, as he still hits a flying crossbody. He's going to the top rope yet again. And now, gingerly walking the ropes, but there it is, limit break elbow drop from Don Ethan. Good stuff right here, folks. And Don Ethan, and now he's picking Notanewbie up. Could be looking for something here. He just drops him on the steel steps. I thought he was going to throw him into the casket, but no, he just drops him spine first on the steel steps. And there it is, a nice military press gut check right there. Jeez, man. And Don Ethan, this is what we mean by, as he picks Notanewbie up again and slams him on the steel steps again. This is what we mean by Don Ethan is really picking up his aggression here. And Notanewbie fight back. I think he's annoyed, sick and tired here. And now Don Ethan getting dropped on the apron. Boom! Notanewbie hits him right in the head. Right there into the casket. We saw it there, folks. Don Ethan picked up the aggression ever so slightly. And Notanewbie trying to show him into the casket. Don Ethan fights out again. And oh, dude. Ah, man, you saw it as Notanewbie went flying over the top rope. His neck and back and everything snapped into the steps there. Not good. That's gotta hurt. But Notanewbie seems he's shaking everything off. And Don Ethan, what's he gonna look for here? And there it is, and another small package driver right there. And again, Don Ethan, I'm very proud of him. I'm impressed. I thought, you know, him making his entrance and everything, I honestly thought he was just gonna be happy-go-lucky again and wasn't gonna put any serious effort into the match yet again as he had previously. But now he's actually really putting in the effort, as now he's just beating Notanewbie down with a baseball bat. Don Ethan, I never thought I'd see him this locked in for a match here, as he hits an axe handle off the barricade right now. And he could be looking up for that small package driver again, and Notanewbie is in no man's land right here, and Don Ethan hits it again. And could Don Ethan be revitalizing his career here? Could Don Ethan actually be one step closer to the World Championship again and actually maybe win it? Who knows? But Notanewbie managing to fight off now. A big kick to the face. Big jumping knee shot there from Don Ethan. Notanewbie is slowing down. I mean, when you've been dropped on the steel steps and you went neck first into the steel steps and you've been hit with like 4 different finishers, yeah, you're gonna be slowed down. And now, Don Ethan, what is he gonna look for here? Looking to maybe whip him into the casket, but Notanewbie reverses the motion. And now running over now, and Notanewbie again gonna try to put him down into the casket now. Trying so desperately to get the win. But I think Notanewbie is just losing his strength. He just doesn't seem to have too much left in the tank. And again, that's gonna happen when you get this deep into a matchup. But Notanewbie comes out of nowhere, and Notanewbie, there it is, brainbuster from out of nowhere. Notanewbie finding a second win now. I mean, and this is good stuff. I mean, if Notanewbie can pick up a second win, that could massively help him here. And now he pays back the favor, dropping Don Ethan on the steel steps now. And now what is he gonna do here? And Notanewbie locks in another lion tamer, and he's stretching Don Ethan all the way out, forcing Don Ethan to tap out and being like, nah, man, let me go, let me go. And now Notanewbie just launches Don Ethan into the steel steps now. Runs to the outside of the ring. Interesting strategy. But then again, I feel like you have more leverage on the outside of the ring. You don't have to stand with one foot in the casket and everything. And Notanewbie closes the casket successfully. And Notanewbie, folks, is advancing to the semifinals. And I mean, credit to where credit is due for Don Ethan. I respect the absolute undying fight, the heart, the effort, and the willingness to actually put in some effort and be more serious in the ring and actually try to achieve victory more. But still, it wasn't enough. Notanewbie, even though Don Ethan may be considered a veteran because he's wrestled longer than Notanewbie on the show, Notanewbie is just showing that he's willing to pull the trigger. He's a good guy, you know. He likes to interact with the crowd, great guy, great high flyer. But if he's got to pull the trigger to get the victory, he's absolutely going to do it. And that, folks, has been episode 4 of season 4 of PWS. We will be catching you all in episode 5 with another tag team tournament matchup. This has been amazing, and I've been Mr. Pizza. I'll catch you all in the next one.